Hey YouTube, coming at you with what's going to be my last Ultra League team. Although I do have another one, I just don't have the time to shoot it. I just got back from a weekend away. And I must say, I have not played much Ultra League in the last few seasons. Usually it's always been with the Great Leagues. I've always just played the Great League. That's what most people play, and that's what kind of draws the views. I actually kind of enjoy playing the Ultra League. I started off terrible. Like, I dropped 200 plus ELO. But this team helped me get back pretty much all of that. Galarian Weezing, cradily, Giratina. Basically, what did I start with? I think I started with Giratina, not even because the new one was coming out, just because I know how strong it's been in the Ultra League since Season 1. And then I'm like, okay, what's it weak to? You know, it's weak to Dark, Ghost, Ice. It's got a few things, right? So I'm like, okay, I need to kind of cover everything there. So covered the Fairy weakness with the Poison and Galarian Weezing, and then Cradily was just a safe swap that can also provide you some coverage. Bulky team. Did, like I said, I think I was 18-7, something like that. So really well, despite playing questionable at times. So what I really like about Galarian Weezing is how fast it spams. And it's not how fast it spams, it's the coverage that it seems to have in this meta. So you have Brutal Swing. There's a lot of ghosts and a lot of what else is Brutal Swing his super effective against? Ghost and no, I was gonna say not a lot of psychic, but there's definitely a lot of ghost in this meta. So just being able to Brutal Swing there, and then Sludge just getting buffed is a really good move, especially on Galarian Weezing. So being able to spam as a crazy pace, and you don't have a ton of weaknesses. You got like ground and maybe steel here, but there's not a ton of those running around in the meta. You are double weak to steel. I remember seeing a Scizor and be like, oh, right, I am double weak to steel on this. But you definitely have some play. Like, you can get around that. So I like the spam on Galarian Weezing. And then Cradily just is a pretty good safe swap you can go to. And then Giratina is just, as you're going to see in a lot of these matchups, I just use it and just take the damage. It's just so bulky. Zoroark's pretty attack heavy, so again, still attack heavy Zoroark does not matter. Missed, oh my goodness, missed 5 bubbles there. That's absolutely terrible. But we'll get back in with Cradily. I have no idea what moves this thing has. This is kind of a weird team. Not weird, but just like a team of Pokemon that I don't normally see. So I'm a bit confused at what's going on here. So I'm just going to try and get this out of here ASAP. Rock Team super effective. And will I get to the move? I do get to the move here for the win. One thing that this team actually has problems with is Steel. Because Fairy Wind is resisted. Fairy Wind, Sludge, Acid, Grass Knot, Rock Tomb and Dragon Claw are all resisted by Steel. So Steel is the biggest issue. But here's a Ghost on the lead. And here's the Brutal Swing coming in 8 turns. So again, non-stab, it's not going to hit super hard, and it's just not a hard-hitting move to start with, but here we go. Wild Dusknoir kind of gets up to its charge moves. Here comes the second super effective, and I grabbed a shield, and I'll live 1 Shadow Punch for sure. I think that they're at 2, so I think shield, knowing that they're going to get a second one off immediately after here anyways. And I'll live 1. I'd be very surprised if I shield 2 here. Yeah, knowing I'll live 1, let's see how much I overfarm here. Not much. I know I for sure I'd outpace, I just don't know by how much because I do not count. So out comes a Cradily, and here we go. Just get the Sludge off. This will chip. Cradilly's XL, so it's going to be able to take some of this. But here we go again. Getting to that second Sludge, and Galarian Weezing putting in a ton of work here. Oh, nice catch. So they caught on Tentaquill, where Sludge is resisted. I was going to say, that seemed fast. So the only thing you really need, so Giratina's generally a pretty good answer to Tentaquill. You resist the poison and you resist the scald. What you do not resist and what does super effective is the blizzard. And so it's one of those, it takes a while to get to, but man, if that lands, it hurts. So I'm going to have to sidebar for some water here. Let's see if I let it go. I do. It's just another acid spray. I can reset here immediately, and that's exactly what happened. I was 4 times lowered. I was not taking attack there, so I just immediately reset on the Cradily as a safe. Pokemon. Plus, now they're all down to one Pokemon. Never leave yourself with one Pokemon. I guess they hadn't seen my cradily, so they don't know that I could have lowered their attack, but being able to lower your opponent's attack and they cannot reset is a terrible situation to put yourself in. Gonna enter my ASMR phase. Okay, Guzzlord, good lead. They get out into Talonflame. So yeah, guaranteed I need to make that switch quicker. You know, you do have Cradily, and oh my, holy crap, man. So I let a full Incinerate through. Brutal. Your options are Giratina, which resists Incinerate. You'll live a Brave Bird, but they've now, because I poorly timed and everything, they'll have a Brave Bird and a Fly back to back here. So I do shield the first one up. Unfortunately, that is the Fly, and this is the Brave Bird, but I don't see myself using 2 shields on Giratina. Okay, shows what I know. I knew it was that. Maybe that's why I did. I knew it was a Brave Bird because they got up to 100, and you can bank a Fly and a Brave Bird together. So I thought, like, okay, maybe it is worth shielding, and I get back into the because they got out of that matchup, back into the Guzzlord, and I guess it's not running Sludge. So Sludge Bomb, which one does it have? Sludge or Sludge Bomb? It has a poison move that it does not seem to be running. Do chip it. Unfortunately, they do live, but if it's going to be another resisted move, yeah, just another resisted Brutal Swing, that is fine. Talonflame just dumped, so it is dry if it comes back in, and it does, although Fairy Wind is resisted, so I don't think I can Fairy Wind down, so that's why I'm throwing here. I don't want those Incinerates to add up. And what's in the back? Tentaquill. And yeah, so I am immediately coming in here for no other reason besides lowering the attack that they cannot reset. So get off that first Rock Tomb. They do shield. Blizzard. Scald is neutral. Blizzard super effective. I am double weak to Ice in the back too, but having lowered their attack right there, Blizzard does not take me out. Here comes the second Rock Tomb. This will lower the attack for the second time. And they could, it's going to be a pretty aggressive farm down. I'm going to get 2 moves. They're going to have to throw here. And do I go Weezing and just spam? Or do I go Giratina? Do I try and catch? Yeah, so basically what I did there was came in with Giratina. Wow, this is actually a heads up by me. Okay, let me explain what I'm doing here. Basically what I'm doing is Tentaquill. The poison move is resisted on Giratina because you are Ghost. So basically came in with Giratina, just took a bunch of resisted energy, like resisted fast move, knowing that I'm going to get a ton of energy, and then getting into the Weezing because the Blizzard one-shot on Giratina is kind of like the worst case scenario. So just kind of getting into Weezing and starting to spam with some Brutal Swings to start putting pressure on to get them to dump like a Scald, because then it's going to take forever to get to a Blizzard and I've got a ton of energy. So here comes the first Brutal Swing. And that takes them to the red. First or second Brutal Swing? How many was that? I think that was the second Brutal Swing. There was a CMP tie here. So they dumped the Scald. They're trying to... they tried to undercharge there and farm because, again, they need a Blizzard, right? But I'm loaded with energy and they have no shields left. Feraligatr. Feraligatr is always a tricky one if you take neutral to Claw and Hydro Cannon because those spam and come hard and quick. So gonna get off Sludge. The only positive is 5-5 for a Hydro, 5-4 for the Sludge here. And you could see I overfarmed there because I'm like, I thought they were going to try and CMP knowing that I was ahead by 1, right? Because it's 5-4 versus 5-5, so I'm going to win. I'm just going to outspam this thing. So it doesn't matter what shield scenario this thing wants to take me to. I can kind of deal with it. And they're over farming a lot here. So I get a Brutal Swing off. Maybe I just let this go? Yeah, I do let go. Hydro probably will take me out from this range. Coming in Cradily. How much energy does this thing have? Shield up an Ice Beam. Maybe I would have lost it on the lead. Because maybe it was one Hydro would have taken me out. Anyways, I make a catch of a Hydro here on Giratina. So that is resisted. Let's see what they come in with. Nidoqueen. Holy smokes. Welcome to 20... What was the first season of GBL? I know we're on like season 20 something, 23, 24. But the first, again, for those of you who weren't around, the first like 7 seasons, it was a 7 week, 6 or 7 week season long. So like we have 3 month seasons now. It was 6 or 7 weeks. I'm pretty sure it was 7 because I think it was two Great League, 2 Ultra League, 2 Master League, and then 1 all 3, and that was it. Anyways, Nidoqueen is very much one of the OGs of the game here. Not the OG, but came around and pretty early on. Anyways, they got their Giratina as a Dragon Breath Giratina. Acid is resisted, but get off that first Rock Tomb. Again, just putting on some just actual damage pressure, but now lowering the attack for the second time. I believe I have some energy on Giratina, but I'm going to force them to throw here. And then instant swap and snipe if I have a move here. They don't even take me out because I've just lowered the attack time. Steel and Giratina is very spammy, but not very hard hitting. I guess I should talk about that because I did the Shadow Giratina analysis before I went on this little mini weekend vacation here. And then I get tagged on my Discord saying, oh, look, Great League, #1 ranked Pokemon is Giratina Shadowed with Shadow Claw, and the #6 ranked Pokemon is Giratina Shadow with Dragon Breath. In my analysis, I think I was somewhat close. In my analysis, I said it should be a pretty strong Pokemon because it's like Dusclops, because it's bulky, ghost, and spammy. And then the dragon's the only like outlier, and there's not a lot of dragons in the meta, so the weaknesses you pick up, Dragon and Ice, are like, I hate picking up those weaknesses, but when you add on resistances to water, grass, fire, electric, like Dragon is a nice secondary typing to have. I still don't understand why it's the #1 ranked Pokemon when you look at the Sims. Because even going #1 ranked, 23 and 24, maybe this isn't even the max stats here. But again, yeah, it's not max stats. Can you even get, what are the max stats you can even get for this? Yeah, but still, put on max stats, you still have a 23 and 24 record with a 495 average. That's not good. And that's why I actually said I thought Dusclops would be ranked higher. So if you go watch my video yesterday, I think it was yesterday, where I said, you know, Giratina, like, why would you use Giratina when you have Dusclops, unless that typing kicks in here? Because otherwise, there's enough things that resist like Shadow Claw in this meta now, right? There's a lot of normal typings. There's more dark typings. I don't know more, but like Moltres is very much out there. It's spammy, but like you're trading off Shadow Punch and Ice Punch for Dragon Claw and Shadow Sneak, and Claw and Astonish are like somewhat similar. So yeah, you're like losing all Wiggly, Ting-Tong, Fred, Dugong, Dedenne, Lapras, Mandibuzz, Sableye, Jumpluff, Gastrodon, Dunsparce, Corsola, Feraligatr, Sandslash, Sableye, Drapion, Weezing, Marowak, Greninja, Mandibuzz, Moltres, Morpeko, Scizor, and then, yeah, so you're losing to all those. You're losing to all of those. Obviously, you have some wins. Like a lot of wins. Typhlosion, Jellicent, Blastoise, Glyspot, Primeape, Gligar, Clodsire, Cradily, Annihilate, Talonflame, Dusclops, Jumpluff. So I don't know. I'm just actually quite surprised it's the #1 ranked Pokemon. I thought it'd be good. I thought it'd be Dusclops like, and Dusclops is like a top 10 Pokemon, so I thought it'd be around there. But I'm actually quite surprised it's #1 ranked. Anyways, let's go back to the Ultra League here, and its resistance is going to come in huge here. So yes, I just switched into my Poison Pokemon into a Psywave user. Doesn't matter too much to me. Its main job is to chip Lapras as much as possible so that Giratina can just align with Typhlosion, which only has Fire and Electric moves, which are both resisted by Giratina. So as long as I chip this as much as I can, it's in the red now. damage is done, Giratina should be able to just kind of sweep the rest of this matchup. So here comes the first Dragon Claw. Lapras is very tanky, and this thing is not attack heavy, so I'm not surprised that I did not even take out there. Out comes the Typhlosion. Okay, everything's resisted. Still, you know, Blast Burn does a ton of damage. I've mentioned this multiple times. There's a couple Pokemon where they don't care about your typings, and it's usually Typhlosion or Shadow Charizard that have this Blast Burn. They don't care about your typings. It does a lot of damage, but unfortunately for them, both pretty on the glassy side, and I just kind of out-spammed Typhlosion there. So yeah, I went on a crazy win streak. Jesus Christ. I think this was my loss because I was like freaking Rhydon, a Mud Slap user. So a ground Mud Slap user. Mud Slap super effective on Weezing. Acid resisted. Here comes a Break and Swipe apparently, just to get met with a Skeldurge, which is a ghost that resists acid. So it's one of those like, holy crap. Unique Rhydon on the lead that I don't really have an answer to. Like Giratina will be fine, but it's not even an amazing answer. But I'm not going to win switch here. So I do get off the second Rock Tomb. I've already grabbed one shield. Can I grab the second? I cannot. That's fine. I think I just go down. What am I going to do here? Go down. I go down, sacrifice Weezing, and try to sweep with Giratina. Torch Song, second one comes through. And just the spam. Getting to this Brutal Swing, this will take out. Got an instant swap because I can't have a slap. And, oh yeah, Galarian Moltres. So pretty hard countered here. Mud Slap user on the front. Dark Pokemon in the back to deal with my Giratina. And a Fire Pokemon to deal. You know, I am half Rock, but Fire Pokemon for a Ghost to resist Acid and a Fire General just neutral on the grass here. Oh, super effective on the grass, but neutral to the Cradily. So tough alignment. You know, what do you do in that situation? Mud Slap Rhydon. Go figure. Okay. So Galarian Weezing comes in. I thought maybe I could like shield and farm a bunch, but that switch timer's up, so I have no shot here. I am shielding. Oh, yeah. Truly no other reason to shield besides I actually just want to see how much damage this does. I know this game's a loss. I just wanted to see how much damage it does. That's why I'm not throwing anymore, because they showed me how much it did, and it was not much. Okay, Dragonite. My other team, it wasn't Lapras. Did I use Jellicent as the second one? Yeah, so this isn't super far off from the second team that I wanted to showcase this afternoon, but again, just no time to film here, so I'm going to just roll into... It is Great League and Ultra League this week, so maybe I showcase an Ultra League. I do still have like at least 3 of my own Great League teams plus submitted. So I definitely got some content for this week to try to film up on here before I go back to Hamilton to see my family for a week, which means the schedule is going to be a little off too. But that schedule may be more normal. We'll talk about that closer to September when the kids are in school. My wife's back to work. Things are going to change a bit, I think. Shadow Machamp. Speaking about not caring about your typings. Lucky for me, doesn't care about your typings, but when you've got the typing and the bulk, it's a bad combo. So they catch on the Dragonite. They caught a super effective Dragon Claw. And now I'm just farming to 100 energy. Throw your superpower. Throw your Dragon Claw. It is just superpower. That is double resisted on the Poison Fairy. I'm loaded with energy. I'm shielding a move in case it was like a Stone Edge or a... Yeah, it had to be a Stone Edge. And... it would be one thing if I was the one coming into the game here to get the one turn leg. And let's say Shadow Machamp is in here. And I come in, I get the one turn leg, so they get a move off, and then they get the second move off to win charge move priority. I would hate it, but I would understand it. What I don't understand, unless I just completely missed the button here, but what I don't understand was I'm pretty sure I was on the ready to throw this charge move here. and CMP tie on this one. CMP tie. Yep. 100%. 100% have clicked that sludge. Look at that. Look at that. I definitely clicked the sludge. One fairy wind to take this down. Instant on the sludge here. And I don't even get the CMP tie off here. I should have CMP tied. And they get a full move through. And then we CMP tie. What the hell, game? Again, if I get one turn. And I get Stonehenge on the second one and get taken out there. So I should have gotten at least one sludge off there. But I didn't. Because of this stupid game. Luckily, I live a Stone Edge, and this thing's spammy enough that I can deal with it. But frig, man, come on. Fix your damn game. Okay, Dragon Claw, one more matchup. And then we'll call it a rest for Ultra League for this week. Enamorous, kind of spicy. I don't even know what this thing is. It is a fairy flying. It seems to be charging pretty quick. And I just killed a mosquito. Going for the sludge. Did they catch? Nope, they did not. That would have been super effective on the fairy. So I go for the sludge here. This time they do catch. It is on a Malamar, so it is neutral. Where do I go from here? Cradily, I assume, yeah. Superpower is super effective, though, so it's not the best case scenario. I think, I mean, I know he'd live with anything. And they actually do go superpower, which is kind of interesting. Does lower their defense, which means this will easily one-shot from this range. And they're already down a shield. Oh, it doesn't one-shot. Really? You know what a one-shot? A Grass Knot. A Grass Knot would have one-shot from this range, but I leave them with 1 HP, which means I need to burn a shield unnecessarily. Never bait. Rock Tomb is one of those like weird like bait moves because it does actually chip, but a Grass Knot would have taken out from there. Okay, I am at a move, but I assume I just take the shield advantage. Galarian Weezing. And I make the catch here on Giratina. Banking a Brutal Swing. Maybe need it later. Giratina can easily take that. Oh yeah, I remember getting hit with the Moonblast here because I'm like, oh, fly. Oh yeah, Dazzling Gleam. Even worse. Is it worth the Moonblast? Either way, that hurt. Blastoise comes in. And now I'm going to need to rely on the bulk and the spam combo here. So getting to a second Dragon Claw. Going for the snipe of the sludge. Unfortunately, did not snipe. I got the fast move through, which is fine. Because I do have a shield. So here comes the sludge. If it doesn't take out, it's going to leave them with like a couple HP. 1 HP to be precise. Fairy Wind down. Call that a day. So yeah, did well with the team. Steals are a bit of an issue. Like the bulk. Double weak to ice in the back as well. But you can hit super effective with Rock Tomb against the ice that you are weak to. Otherwise, I like the coverage. I like the spam. I like the bulk. So yeah, worked out pretty well. Anyways, that is it. League tournament tomorrow. Again, I'm like 99% sure it is all 3 next week. So if I really want to showcase this Dragonite team, I could. But it is Great League Ultra League Master League. So we'll see. Plus event coverage. I know there's at least a couple events. I will cover those. Actually, plus the big event that I'm driving down to Hamilton during that time. So definitely some event covers this week. So stay tuned for those. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.